Hello, dear learner. You are welcome to another English language lesson on verbs. It is a grammar and vocabulary lesson, and I hope that you have come with your writing materials ready to learn. Before we go into the lesson proper for today, I would like you to do this revision exercise. You are going to look at the question, read it, and only write the answer. What is a noun? What is a noun? State a brief definition of a noun. Good job. Let's check and compare our answers with this one. A noun is the name of a person, a place, an animal, an idea, or a thing. I hope you had some of these elements in your own definition of a noun. Question number 2. Name 2 types of nouns. There are different categories of nouns. List just 2 of them. Beautiful. Let's check and compare our answers. Did you have any of these? Some categories of nouns are common and proper nouns, concrete and abstract nouns, countable and uncountable nouns. We equally have compound nouns. We also have different types of nouns. Which of them did you write? Give a tick for the correct answer. Now, identify and write the proper noun from this list. Here is a list of words. Identify the proper nouns. We have Felix, Tuesday, bag, stone, mbesa, mother, father, January, sister, Yaoundé, brother. I wish that you should identify the proper nouns found in the list. Good. As smart as you are, let's check and compare our answers. Did you have this? The proper nouns in this list are Felix, the name of a person; Tuesday, the name of a day in the week; Mbesa is the name of a person; January is the name of the month of the year; and Yaoundé is the name of a town. Remind yourselves that we said proper nouns are specific names of people, places, organization. Okay, you did a good job by writing the proper nouns. Now, look again in this sentence, identify and write the common nouns from the list. We have Felix, Tuesday, bag, stone, mbesa, mother, father, January, sister, Yaoundé, and brother. That's good. Here are the correct answers. The correct common nouns in these words are bag, stone, mother, father, sister, and brother. That is very good. Here is what you will be expected to do at the end of this lesson. If you follow up attentively and do the activities, then you will, at the end of this lesson, define a verb, identify 2 categories of verbs in sentences, and use verbs correctly in your day-to-day conversation. You must be very attentive and participatory in this lesson. Here are some sentences. Read them aloud with me. She goes to school by bus. They are singing the national anthem. We play football every weekend. The task here is for you to identify the action in each sentence. Identify the action in each sentence. Good job. Let's see. The actions in these sentences are indicated by the word goes, sing or singing, and play. We have she goes to school by bus. The action is goes. They are singing the national anthem. The action is singing. We play football every weekend. The correct answer is play. So, these are the words that indicate actions in the sentences. So, what therefore is a verb? What therefore is a verb? Good job. Let's check it out. A verb is an action word in a sentence. A verb is an action word in a sentence. There are two types of verbs. The two types of verbs are action verbs and auxiliary verbs. Two categories of verbs are action verbs and auxiliary verbs. What therefore are action verbs? Action verbs are words which describe actions. Example, I run, I sit. Run is a verb and sit is also a verb. Can you think of other verbs to describe actions that you do? Good job. I know you must have listed some. The second category of verbs is called auxiliary verbs or helping verbs. These are verbs that are used with other verbs. They come before the main verb in a sentence. For example, I am sleeping. I have played handball. Am and have are auxiliary verbs that have been conjugated in a given tense. Particularly, let's have a good look or a better look at action verbs. What are action verbs particularly? An action verb is a word that expresses action. It tells us what the subject does. Action verbs can stand on their own in a sentence and make complete sense. Example, to give, to eat, to walk. I eat bread every day. The action there is eat and it is a verb. She writes well in school. The action is to write. The teacher speaks English fluently. The action here is speaks. The learners sit in class to learn. The action here is sit. This food tastes good. The action word here is taste. What therefore are helping verbs? Helping. Did you have a quick reflection on that? Good. Let's check it out. Helping verbs are also called auxiliary verbs. They are verbs that are used with other verbs to express a tense, a modality, voice, or emphasis. They come before the main verb in a sentence. For example, I am sleeping. The auxiliary verb here is am. I have played handball. The auxiliary verb is have. Now, we have different types of auxiliaries. There are primary auxiliary verbs and modal auxiliary verbs. The verb to be, to have, to do are examples of primary auxiliaries. You have is, am, are, was, which are the verb to be expressed in different tenses. And we have modal auxiliary verbs like can, must, might, would, could, may, and so on. Examples of sentences with verbs. I am studying English now. Am there is standing before studying, which is a verb on its own. That is an action verb. So am is an auxiliary verb. She has eaten all the food. Has is the auxiliary verb. The teacher is sweeping the office. Is the auxiliary verb. The teacher may ask us questions on verbs. May is an auxiliary verb. You should consult a doctor for this headache. Should is a helping verb. You must wash your hands with clean water and soap. Must is an auxiliary verb. I hope you are following up. To prove that you've been following up, you are going to do this exercise. 1. Write the action word in each sentence. Write just the action word. These boys are running to school. Shade speaks English well. The teacher writes on the board. The farmers plant crops. Have you written the verb in each sentence? That is the word that expresses action. Good. Here we go. The correct verbs in these sentences are running, speaks, writes, plants. I hope you got that correct. Thumbs up to you for a good job. Next exercise. Write the auxiliary verb in each sentence. The girls are sweeping the class. The boys have planted the flowers. You must listen attentively to the instructions. They can answer all the questions in the test. Write the auxiliary or helping verb in each sentence. Good job. Let's check and compare our answers with that which we see on the screen. The auxiliary verbs in the sentences are have, must, and can. You see that comes before sweeping, have comes before planted, must comes before listen, and can come before answer. They are all helping verbs. And finally, we have come to the end of our lesson. But before we go, you should remember that you have learned that a verb is an action word in a sentence. You also learn two types of verbs are action verbs and helping verbs. Action verbs tell us what the subject does. Example, play, eat, write, jump, listen, and many other verbs that you can name. Auxiliary verbs or helping verbs are used with other verbs. They come before the main verb in a sentence. Example, I am sleeping. I have played handball. I was at the market. I may go to the farm later. Thank you very much, dear friend, for taking an active part in this lesson. I hope to see you in the next lesson, but do well to come with your pen and your book. Thank you. Goodbye.